Hello everyone, greetings aliens. In this video, I'm going to talk about an old case of a UFO sighting in Florida called the Gulf Breeze Incident in Gulf Breeze, Florida. So, this image was released by building contractor Ed Walters along with others of what looked like a circular UFO over the Gulf Breeze, Florida. And there's dispute about this because some believe that it could have been hoaxed, and Mr. Walters is very firm in his belief that this is a real sighting that he captured in his garden. So I will give more information about this. Mr. Walters claimed he snapped the picture from his back garden before handing them to local media in the area. The Pensacola News Journal reports. It sparked a year-long sky-watching campaign for further evidence by excited locals and visitors alike in what became known as the Gulf Breeze sightings. More than 30 years on the subject still sparks debate about whether they were real or hoaxed. As we know, as theorists with aliens and everything else, things can be hoaxed or exaggerated. So it's very important that we use discretion and balance things out. And in our modern times, there have been numerous sightings of aliens and ghostly and demonic apparitions appearing everywhere. So this case in particular really intrigued me. And Mr. Walters claimed to take the picture on November 11th, 1987. As you could tell by the picture, it's old, and it has a light blue aura to it. George Williams is State Section Director of Florida Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, a national organization which records and investigates UFO sightings. I quote, "I really don't have a good opinion on whether they're faked or not. There was so much controversy about it, and MUFON went back and forth about it for years," George says. And another thing he said, "We still get reports of interesting stuff in the area, and in 1987 you had hundreds of people besides Walter reporting sightings. It's always been an interesting area." Person's last name that took the picture that you see is Walters, is his last name. So you can see that more than just one person was reporting these things. Many were convinced they were hoaxed. After Mr. Walters moved away from the area in 1990, the new owner claimed to find a model of a flying saucer made of foam pie plates, as you could see on the screen, cardboard paper, and tinted plastic gel wrapped up in the loft. And you can see the image, how it looks, and that the theory is he did some photoshopping stuff and that he created a little model and took that and hoaxed it. What Mr. Walters says is quite interesting. He counterclaimed that the model must have been planted. So he believes the model was planted there by the government or something to discredit him. Because, we know that the government doesn't want us to know about what's going on with the aliens and stuff, especially at that time period. But also, however, some witnesses allegedly came forward with claims that they knew of the hoax. So there's people out there that claim that they knew he made it up. Tests were carried out by newspapers using the model, and they achieved almost identical images. Craig Myers covered the story for the Pensacola News Journal at the time and went on to write books and lecture about it. He believes it was a hoax. He said maybe it started as a fun prank, but then it just took off and snowballed. He's probably the smartest guy in the room, in most rooms he walks into. So that's someone that's skeptical about it. And Mr. Walters has always insisted the pictures were real and wrote his own book on the case called Gulf Breeze Sightings. So Mr. Walters has never either admitted or accepted that he hoaxed this sighting. So he is convinced and has counterclaims to prove that he really saw that thing floating in the sky and took the picture of it. He has some supporters, including UFO researcher Bruce Maccabi. He said, "I think they're real. I think the model is a hoax squared." Mr. Maccabi said there were too many other witnesses who claimed to see UFOs in the Gulf Breeze area. And one time in my yard, I saw at night a blue glowing thing floating vertical in the sky that went up from the horizon that looks very similar to this thing. And I have a video of it on the channel. I'll even make a reaction video in the future about it, because it's kind of from a long time ago. So I can see that it's feasible that it could be real. And considering that there's other people in the area that have also seen these things. But then again, it could have easily been hoaxed and he doesn't want to admit it. It truly is a mystery. And Maccabi further added, you had politicians reporting seeing objects. So even the politicians were saying that they were seeing things in the sky. There were so many sightings that you have to account for, unless you believe there was massive collusion on part of the residents of Gulf Breeze in Pensacola. So this, what Maccabi is saying is, all these people that claim to see something have to be working with the conspiracy that it's not true, like they're playing along with the prank. And if multiple people do see something or say something, like in these situations, I would say leaning more towards it being true, and I can see why certain outside forces would want to discredit him or plant something. And I know that, say, Georgia and the Deep South and the area where in Las Vegas in the West Coast have also seen a lot of sightings, including Area 51, of course, and the map of the United States that shows paranormal activity. And over military bases, and some of you have told me about the military bases and people that y'all know that have seen UFO activity. I think that this mystery may never be solved, but I would be interested to see what y'all's thoughts are. And I lean towards it's real, but it easily could be very fake. And obviously, if someone moves into a place and they see this little model sitting there, it easily could have been faked. But I usually have my tinfoil hat on, and a lot of us here do,